Conclusion analysis Article 1. The relationship between money supply and economic growth, the case of China. The first article. This article explores the relationship between money supply and economic growth in China. This paper uses the empirical analysis method to analyze China's economic data in the past decades and draws the following conclusion. Money supply is positively correlated with economic growth. That is, with economic growth, money supply will also increase and push forward corresponding policy recommendations. Article 2. The relationship between money supply and inflation, the case of the United States. This Article 2 focuses on the relationship between the money supply and inflation. By analyzing the money supply data in the United States over the past few decades, the authors found that an increase in the money supply leads to an increase in the inflation rate. In addition, the author also discusses the relationship between money supply and inflation and puts forward some suggestions from the perspective of economic policy. Conclusion. Both Articles 1 and 2 emphasize that policy makers should consider a variety of factors comprehensively to make appropriate economic policies. Article 1 emphasizes the influence mechanism of money supply on economic growth and suggests that policy makers should formulate appropriate monetary policies according to macroeconomic environment and domestic and foreign economic situation, and appropriately adjust money supply to promote stable economic growth. At the same time, when formulating monetary policies, we should take into account factors such as investment, consumption, price, and exchange rates to ensure the pertinence and effectiveness of monetary policies. Article 2 emphasizes the impact of money supply on the economic system and the management of risks such as inflation. It's recommended that policymakers strengthen comprehensive analysis and case studies of economic systems to better understand the price and mechanisms by which money supply influences the economic system. In Formulating economic policies, attention should be paid to the balance between investment, consumption, and prices, and measures should be taken to prevent risks such as inflation. Together, both articles highlight the need for policymakers to take into account multiple factors to formulate appropriate policies and economic policies. Specifically, Article 1 focuses more on the relationship between money supply and economic growth, while Article 2 focuses more on the impact of money supply on the economic system and the management of risks such as inflation. Research and analysis of the relationship between money supply and economic growth. Taking China as an example, the relationship between money supply and economic growth has always been the focus of attention. In the past 2 years, China has forcefully used monetary policy, and the control of money supply has played a more and more important role in economic development. This paper analyzes the relationship between money supply and economic growth in China through the empirical research. Must its found that money supply has a significant impact on economic growth. In order to ensure the steady, healthy and rapid development of China's economy, it's necessary to conduct empirical research on the relationship between Chinese money supply, especially M2, and gross domestic products (GDP), and put forward targeted policy suggestions suitable for China's national conditions. On this basis, this paper selects recent data for empirical research, uses translated tests to verify whether there is a long-term equilibrium relationship between the two, and on this basis analysis the characteristics of money supply and puts forward together suggestions according to the characteristics. There is a significant positive correlation between money supply and economic growth. That is, the increase of money supply is conducive to the economic growth, with the continuous development and improvement of China's market economic system. The central bank regulates economic growth through money supply. The effect will gradually become apparent. The ADF test is used to determine the stability of relevant variables, and then the integration test is conducted in investigate whether there is a long-term equilibrium relationship between money supply and economic growth. Statistical tests are conclude that there is a long-term equilibrium relationship between money supply and economic growth. Granger correlated test is used to determine whether China's money supply has a significant impact on economic growth. It's found that the change of money supply significantly affects economic growth. This shows that in the process of our country's economic development, the role of money supply has been gradually reflected in the operation of the whole national economy. At the same time, it also shows that there is a significant correlation between China's money supply and the real economy.